Hello everyone, welcome to Cranky Goth Posers. It's been a long time since we've done one of these. At least a couple of years, do you say, everyone?
Yeah.
4 years.
4 years, wow. That's pretty much pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's
Wow.
literally, it's done before I moved to Knots, so yeah.
We took this massive break. Why has it been 4 years? We've all had various things going on in our lives and that, and we should probably introduce ourselves again. I'll go last, so someone else can talk and I'm not hogging the microphone.
I can go. Hello, my name's Mystic. I was originally on Two Broke Goths, and I kind of retired from that, and, pandemic and whatnot kind of distracted me from doing much of anything else. But I'm back to doing a couple of things, at least. This podcast and trying to make earrings and just trying to live life,
Fair enough. I am Dean, or Finag, from the House of Wyvern YouTube channel. I cover goth and metal mostly, and a little bit of history behind what songs' meanings are. We originally was with my co-host, but we are no longer together. And the reason I've been away, it's been a rough year, divorce, and there was a fire that broke out in the morgue underneath my flat, as I lived in an old Victorian asylum.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So goth, he lives above a morgue.
Well, used to.
What, did
And
you
then-
die or something?
Well, I reached peak goth, and I just decided, tone it down a little. I didn't want to make you guys too jealous.
Ooh.
Everyone always used to ask if it was haunted. I never experienced a thing there. It was quite boring. It had its own forest and a private cave, not showing off, just saying. It had a cave, which was pretty good. I did do a shoot in there for my video for a dark wave, if you want to see what it looks like.
Nice.
And then we moved with my new partner into this new building in the south of Nottingham. And we're trying to make a comeback. I haven't done much videos recently because of all the stuff going on with health and divorce and moving and whatnot, but we're picking it back up, and it's great to be back with these guys, as I had a lot of fun with them on the Discord and whatnot from Reddit.
I guess that means I have to introduce myself, even though I need no introduction. I am Joe, also known as DJ ATAC. You've probably heard of Elitist Joe, and interestingly enough, Elitist Joe is going into a form of retirement. I believe, well, say it ain't so, Joe. Yes, it is. It's kind of got to the point where people don't get the joke anymore. So I think
so reversed.
I think times have passed Elitist Joe by, where it's kind of just the way the world has gone, where if you make a parody of something, people see it as support. Or even when I'm doing things like the Gothquisition and that, I'm deliberately amping up to 11. And people think that's me. And I'm like, well, all good satire is based on some fact. But I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Nah, we both know that.
It's kind of become like the joke has kind of gone into itself, where the caricature itself, and it's become an anti-joke in a way.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to pull the page down or anything. Everything's still going to be there for people to have a look at, but some things have aged better than others. It's just time for it to end. It's at the point where I've pretty much made jokes about just about everything in goth, so there's nothing else to say.
Mm-hmm.
And the page I haven't been doing much on really for the last year or two anyway. It's time to retire.
Joe had seen
time
everything.
to hang up the bats.
You
Joe had
hear
seen
that?
everything. It was time to go home.
You heard it here first.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually quite sad about that, because I used to love making memes for that.
Well,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
me
still
too.
see everything there and all that, and I might make them elsewhere. I don't know. I've kind of moved on.
I
from
wanted
it
to
now.
do like, do you remember the one where you're looking really menacingly at the camera? The big open eyes one
Yes.
in the dark. I want to do a version of myself, the Undertaker meme where it's got the guy laughing.
Yep.
And then it's got I do you behind me in front switching the metal on, and then just you behind appearing. Like,
That video you did with Ace Rimmer, though, that was beautiful.
Well, I knew you liked Red Dwarf, so I figured I'd put it on. I can't watch that anymore. It's banned in my region.
Oh, what?
Why?
Probably due to it being BBC and you have to pay a TV license for that.
Oh.
So it isn't to do with Lister being a scouse or similar to?
No. Lister,
he makes it look cool though. So
his actor does what's it?
Was he on Coronation Street?
He was. He also does nights around the UK. I forgot what genre it is. It's funk.
Oh.
He does funk club nights around the UK.
Oh wow.
He's not actually like his character. I don't think he actually likes curry, if I recall. But, you know, when you see a character, you expect them to be like that. And I guess that's kind of what happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People think, well, you can't turn it off. It's like, yeah, well, I have been moderating in Goth on Reddit for about 2 years.
We go in there.
And
no,
people assume that I made all the rules there because they can't. Some of them kind of go along with what Elise Joe said. Some of them don't. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with them all. I just play to the umpire's whistle. I'm just there to sort of help out.
The rules on that Reddit was made by, was it Dave or someone?
Dave,
no,
yeah.
I can't remember the name, but I probably shouldn't mention that. But
Dave's not here.
yeah, they
were made before. I have been a member there for probably about 10 years or so.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I've seen it before, and I've seen it after, and it's definitely better after. But we don't have to go there. Why I haven't sort of been involved with this sort of thing? I mean, since COVID, like even finding a venue to run an event has been awful.
Yeah.
But the weird thing
manner?
is, they
been going on?
They have much higher demand because a lot of people were cancelling because they had to cancel because of COVID-related issues. So a lot of venues that were quite happy to have you play there for free before. Now they're asking for deposits, drink minimums. They just want too much up front, and I just don't have the resources to do it. That said, I'm not short of DJing gigs. I'm just DJing in other areas in the more geeky anime type stuff, which, while not goth, it's still fun. People appreciate it, so it's great.
Yeah, that's the main thing. As long as everyone's having fun. We actually... I forgot to mention, I do the DJ thing as well, and
Excellent.
Yeah, we recently had a More, or just a regular goth night at a place called the Platypus, and
I love that name.
Yeah, the logo is really cute. It's like a little punk rock platypus.
Aww.
But we had an event there, and we packed the house.
Did you know platypi have poisonous spurs on the backs of their legs?
Not only the females, I think.
I did. I thought it was only like baby males.
Oh, it's one of them. I know it's only one gender that has it.
Yeah.
Plus they lay eggs. Australian animals are weird.
They're very goth.
They're great, though.
What was going on with your DJing, Meg?
Oh, yeah, we did really good that night, and unfortunately, Platypus has just been kind of booking everybody, and so we haven't had another night there. But we're having another night. I'll have to look it up. I'll mention it probably at the end of the podcast, but we're having an actual concert later on. I gotta look up all the info for it, but yeah, it's been doing pretty well. We've been pretty steady. We got a new DJ that's been working with us and their friend, which has been so nice because it's just nice to kind of pass the torch a little bit sometimes.
Oh yeah,
it's not just like the help, it's just being able to pass down the advice, because we're not planning on staying in St. Louis. for a long time. Like we want to move to like California or something because political wise, Missouri's just not great right now.
Oh no!
Where'd you say potentially? San Fran. Oh.
Potentially San Fran, but we're thinking more towards LA, actually.
Oh yeah!
Big scene in LA, so if you want to go out, that's a good place to go.
Yeah, that's what I've been told, and I've kind of there's been a lot of transplants here from Cali to St. Louis, and I've straight up told people St. Louis is great if you know people. Because one of the main questions here in St. Louis is, where did you go to high school?
Where did you learn to fly?
And which is so bizarre for a big city, but that's exactly how it is here. And if you know somebody, chances are you'll have an in with them. But if you move here and you're in some creative field, you're not gonna do well here unless you know someone.
You mean to be able to start a night or just to
start a night, start a band, start anything really, unless you have charisma out the ass.
So you're saying it's a sort of clique, maybe?
A little bit, yeah. It's a little cliquey here, but Kansas City is a little bit better, but I don't really want to move to Kansas City because of the whole Kansas City Chiefs thing, and it's I don't want to deal with that type of racist bullshit. But Kansas City, as far as the art world goes, fantastic place. There's a whole art school up there.
Yep.
If I ever visit, you have to take me to see.
When the aliens come down, all they really want to see is the pyramid by the river down in Memphis, Tennessee. Made of glass and some brass, it'll knock you on your ass, make your damn jaw drop.
What's that?
The big Bass Pro Shop, the big pyramid one in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, the big Bass Pro.
Song.
It's our Bass Pro Shop. Duh, what you think it was? Doesn't every city have a big ass pyramid by the mud? Yeah, some people wipe their eyes because they think they're on drugs, but they're really at the best place to shop. It's our Bass Pro Shop.
I love it. That's the most American. When I think of America, that's exactly what I think about.
I haven't been there yet. I want to go though. It's it's on the bucket list.
It looks amazing.
You and me, let's learn some history. It took men and the Egyptians like a million centuries. Yeah, to finally make the pyramids into what they came to be, and now everybody see what we got.
It does.
Just all make a video about us going to the Bass Pro pyramid.
Go to the Bass Pro Shop and come out and try and find the best fishing outfit that matches the Goth style.
We got a Bass Pro Shop. Hell yeah, working cutting on this bitch. Makes me want to shake my ass and it makes me want to fish. Yeah, it has been prophesizing all the hieroglyphics. It's a bluff city non-stop.
Get stylish fishing flies to add to your patch jacket.
Yeah. I used to play with those a lot. Not the hooks, but the little gummy worms and stuff. My dad had those in a tackle box.
You get some of them with purple feathers and stuff. That look really cool.
It would. DIY tips, everybody.
That's a big ass pyramid, man. Why is it a Bass Pro Shop? I don't understand.
I'm just imagining Joe in one of them fishing. It's not even a fishing hat. We had the fishing hats, but you get the ones with the corks hanging from them. Isn't that an Australian thing?
Kind of like a broad-brimmed bucket hat or an Akubra hat.
Aye.
An Akubra hat's similar to a cowboy hat, but Australian.
Yeah, that's the colonial one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has the one side up and one
and they
side
have the
down.
corks hanging down to keep the flies out of your eyes.
Aye.
Of course, the downside is you've
Yes, the
constantly
British
got
cowboy
corks
hat,
in
basically.
your peripheral vision, but no flies. The other thing that used to be common in Australia too were mullet hats.
Mullet hats?
You know how you got the mullet hairstyle?
Aye.
Think that, but it's got a flap coming down at the back of the hat. They're also called Legionnaires hats, I think, but we just call them mullet hats.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's like a thin piece of like plastic or
fabric coming down off the back. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I got a thing where I just want to find the most ungoth thing hat and just make it sort of part of an outfit because, you know, flat caps, it's like a Yorkshire thing, but it's more like a old Victorian working class thing. They're originally from Yorkshire. I really want one of them to see if I can pull it off.
I stated that I wish to become a disciple of Ekithum.
I think it's like you've seen them in Peaky Blinders, even though I haven't watched it, but it's the Victorian working class hat. What we're on about?
My uncles wear hats like those, so yeah, I've definitely seen them around. You can't get them easy enough.
In regards to DJing, I used to DJ, mostly metal nights. We had 3 floors in Leicester. The scene in Leicester is more metal. When I lived there, but it was we handled the niche part, so we basically did the lesser known metal genres, but I also advertised that I'd do goth as well, so it was request friendly in case anyone wanted it, to kind of broaden the audience, which did happen. I did one in Nottingham just before I moved here, and then we stopped working for the company because the manager is a garbage person. Don't want to go too much into it, but she's basically banned from every venue in the East Midlands. Ooh. If you know, you know. So we stopped working for that person, and I kind of stopped doing it because I kind of would like to, but my tech is aging, like my laptop and whatnot. I recently did, hilariously, DJ my ex's wedding.
You told me about that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was funny.
Well, at least she remembers you had good taste in music.
That's literally the reason she said it. She said, like, you know
Can't
what I like.
Can't trust anyone else to DJ.
It was the most laziest DJing thing I ever did. You know, cash speaks, because otherwise I probably wasn't going to go. Not out of bad feelings I wrote, but, you know, awkwardness.
Did you at least get drunk?
Oh, yeah, I got wasted.
Fuck you, I'm drunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk.
Yes.
It was really awkward because people asked me, it's like, how do you know the people here? I was like,
Fuck you, I'm drunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk.
Well, yeah, that's a story. I kept stum. I just said who I am, and that's about it. No drama. But then it was the most laziest set ever. Joe, you're gonna love this. Basically, they had the room they were doing the DJing in, the venue, the dancing and whatnot. But the computer for it, I had to connect it to a PA system that was at the front desk of the hotel. So I couldn't be in the room whilst I was doing the DJing because the control for the laptop was outside of the room, a fair bit down. So I connected Spotify to my phone, and I was just walking around DJing on my phone throughout the entire night. I did most of it smoking outside. But just walking out, it's like basically, you know what? I'm not going to be around much. I'm going to be drinking, smoking outside, talking to folks. So if you want me, just message me on Facebook and send a request. I was like, I love technology.
That is half-arsing it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No mixing, nothing. No mixing. And the worst part is that I did a playlist.
That's not even DJing.
It's not. But if they wanted it, I would put it in. They're like, cue it as the next track. But what could I have done? There was a different room. I couldn't keep going back and forth.
True.
And the laptop would keep going, but it would go in standby, and then if I did anything to it, it would disconnect. So I had to start the song again, and sometimes it would lag. It was quite bad, but mostly if I didn't touch it too much, it was fine. In Nottingham, the goth scene is actually really, really good. I'd say it's one of the best in the country. Nottingham is a gem for alternatives. It's one of the reasons I moved there, because you got 5 alt pubs, you've got 3 goth nights, and a load of metal nights, and a huge live scene here.
So you could do a proper pub crawl and not even touch a mainstream venue.
Yeah, you can. Literally, most people do that. You
could reenact the movie at World's End. Kind of.
Yeah.
You've got Pit and Pendulum, which I've done a video on. It's like a goth themed pub. You do get a bit of noise, and lack of a bad term. but it's a bit overpriced. But it's based on Pit and Pendulum, Edgar Allan Poe's story. But so everything in there is like medieval torture device themed in there.
Art thou feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
And I've only ever seen one other pub like that in the UK, and that's in Edinburgh. You've got Tap and Tumble, which has a band on like every night. You've got Ye Olde Salutation, which does the club nights, which is basically known for that, which does literally any alternate genre you can probably think of. There was the Charmeleon, I can't remember how to pronounce it, but that's closing down now, unfortunately.
Have you noticed after COVID, you had your initial wave of venues closing, and then a bunch of them,
what I was going to say.
It was like a delayed death of
The
venues.
thing is,
within the last couple of years after, a lot of them have just dropped dead out of nowhere. It's as if they survived the storm, but then wrecked on the rocks.
it's thankfully that's what I was thinking about to say next, because I was trying to remember the other part of that. It's not really happened here, thankfully. I mean, someone's going to claim one. The one in Derby did close during COVID, and that was like one of two. Whereas most people see that spelled and say Derby, but it's pronounced Derby.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
None of them really closed. I know Sal did a fundraiser. Other than that, to be honest, they've all been pretty fine. But I think maybe our laws were a bit laxer than yours during COVID, so they could stay open.
Yeah.
Whereas we had like the separation on the tables and whatnot.
Oh, we tried running events while we could, where you had to sit down. You weren't allowed to stand up. You weren't allowed to dance. A friend of mine got kicked out of a pub for dancing in his chair.
Yeah. That didn't really happen here because people kind of ignored it. It's just the British way. It's kind of like you'll push the rules as far as possible.
Keep calm and carry on.
Pretty much. People were meant to stay in their seats, and you get served like at the table, which is not something you do in pubs really here. If you're not
people
having a
could
meal.
still go to the bar and get a drink. They just had to sit down with it.
No,
you had to be seated here. They were absolutely draconian with it. I mean, I get why, because and the funny thing is, one of the events we did, well, it's a furry event that I've DJ'd at. Those guys have lots of fun though. Nothing sus happens there.
Well, you've got
that happens after, but
yeah,
that's fine. That's their business. But the first one we ran, we had a COVID outbreak. It was the first time I caught it from that night, and it was like, oh, what do we do? We better tell everyone. And we didn't run another one for I think another 6 months after that, and the next one haven't had a problem since.
Oh, I was gonna say, was it as bad for you guys? You said yours was draconian, but for us, they weren't really enforcing much. They were just, well, they were if you got caught, kind of. It's like people would get up, they kept their distance, but like they'd stand at the end of the table and talk to them where you were supposed to be sitting, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So like they go over to the person's table but keep their distance. Not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But it's what happened.
Yeah. Social distancing was a big thing here, wearing masks and all that.
Yours
even in the venues, you had to wear masks.
Your laws were
which
awful
is fine
during COVID.
Well, yeah, in South Australia in particular, they were really tough, but it kept COVID out really well for a long time.
It did.
And then when they lifted it, we got hit with it big time. But at least it wasn't when COVID was at its deadliest.
Good point.
So most people got sick. It was just like having a bad flu. That's how it was with me. It was pretty awful, but
how was it for you on your end?
Things.
On my end, I don't really know, honestly, from public standpoint, because I was kind of like, I was pretty much like right as the lockdown started, I started having eye issues, and that's when I was like diagnosed with panuveitis and pretty much stayed home. And yeah, I think the worst part of it was just the money situation, because a lot of us were just out of work for the longest time, and like a lot of us, the most we were earning money was through the government. But then when that stopped, like a lot of people went back to work. I couldn't. I was still like, going through getting because I have glaucoma too, so I had to get like my eye pressure regulated, and that took way too long. So I was just kind of like not bedridden, but just kind of like had to sit here bored. I'm like,
House ridden.
Yeah, house ridden. And there were times I did go out, but, you know, it was like for a walk or something. And I still wear a mask at work. But the only dumb thing we've done is, so where I work, they used to have like hand wipes and hand sanitizers in every single room. And once the pandemic was over, they were just like, well, let's just get rid of these because they're ugly. And it's like, you have them. Why not just use them?
Aye.
It's just ridiculous. But, I mean, it's America, so it's going to be ridiculous. Even hospitals aren't enforcing masks anymore, or airplanes, which I wish they would go back to.
It makes more sense on planes, to be fair. But I couldn't understand it.
Hospitals, though, they do.
I didn't know you knew I had glaucoma.
Yeah, I pretty much, I'm okay now. But yeah, I've had a lot of eye crap. That's part of the reason I stopped doing video stuff, is because early mornings, everything's kind of a blur, even with glasses on. So yeah, it's a struggle, but I'm getting through it.
Mine keeps going up and down. I have to keep getting new drops every few months. What were we going to move on to?
Shall we do the song recommendations?
It's a good time. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first, since I'm already talking. Okay, my song I picked for this one is by a band called Pilgrims of Yearning. They're from Boston. The song is on the Hadal EP, which was released in 2022. It's available on Bandcamp. For the songs that we're announcing, we're going to put links in the description for the video, so you can find it, maybe YouTube and Bandcamp where possible. And the song is Lamar.
So, we're going to discuss upcoming shows that you've been to and shows that you've been to recently. We can go into your festival, Meg.
Oh, me? Yeah. So, like we talked about earlier, my fiance and I went to LA. And that's the other update, too, is I got engaged. So, yay. Yeah,
Nice.
we're getting married September 14th. We went to LA and we wanted to go to Cruel World. My fiance specifically wanted to go because I'm trying to remember who all was there. I think
What's Cruel World again?
Cruel World is a kind of 80s nostalgic festival. It's put on by the same people who put on the Fire Fest, so that should have been my first red flag.
Oh, Jesus.
But I heard so many people say that they loved it, so I was just like, oh, it should be fine. And this is my first music festival, so I was already expecting it to be hot, and that's fine. I don't mind the heat so much when it's accommodating. And my fiance spent a ton of money, and the opening act, I believe, was Susie Sue, and Iggy Pop was there. Or not opening, like the
Headline.
Headline.
I was thinking, hang
That's
on,
right.
should be was this the one where Susie and another band didn't get to play, so they played the day after or something?
Yes. I will mention that later.
Okay.
Because that's actually a really funny coincidence. But we went, and my fiance spent almost $2,000 on these tickets.
Wow.
Because we wanted the VIP, like, treatment, and we wanted to make sure that we were in air conditioning. We were told that there was going to be air conditioning. Spoiler, there was not air conditioning. So
it was just someone in the corner with a great big giant fan waving it, or?
Oh, even better. We got parasols. Free parasols. Because that helps. And
portable shade.
In dry heat.
There was barely any shade. This was in Pasadena. It was like the Rose Bowl. So it's a big park. And they usually hold festivals there anyway. So we went.
Pasadena for the uneducated Brit.
Pasadena? It's just a spot in California.
Fair enough.
I don't remember where. Can you hear my neighbor's dog by chance?
Not at all.
Okay,
Nope.
good. Okay, good. This mic's better than I thought. So,
I
yeah,
think
we
Zoom's
went.
good too, so that's part
Yeah.
of it.
So we went in, and I think the first thing we wanted to do was get our VIP like packages, which like came with a bunch of free shit, and went ahead, got our shirts, that we wanted. There were a lot of bands there that we wanted to see, and we didn't get to see fucking any of them. I was so pissed. We missed Urban Heat, which is the one band I really wanted to see.
Oh, they're so good.
They're amazing. I did get to see them later, but I'll mention that a little bit later. There was also Gary Newman and Billy Idol was there. Like it was just
Nice.
a really good lineup.
Wow.
And it was a huge lineup, and the bad thing about this festival is they don't put it on for 3 days or anything. It is all packed into one day. Which is just insane to me. But
Well, when you see the flyer for it, it's like, this has to be one of those joke flyers. But it was real.
Yeah, it was real. But we went, and there were a lot of people there. We actually ran to Maddie Danger, hung out with her a little bit.
Mhm.
But then we went to find, I think we were going to go watch Twin Tribes. And
Nice.
I will say this, if you are disabled in any way, which my fiance is, this festival is definitely not it. We were basically on this platform that was far away from the stage, which I don't mind that. I don't care if we're really far away or really up close or anything like that. That's fine. But anybody who was disabled was put on this big platform with no shade. Nothing covering it, no tent, no
Unless
nothing.
you had your parasol.
Unless you had your parasol, but it was
That sounds
essentially
like a Woodstock situation.
it was essentially just a big skillet where handicapped people baked in the sun. And I was so pissed. I went all the way back to the other side of the park where the handicap station is, so I could give them a piece of my mind and be like, what the fuck is this? Even the security guard that was there, I asked, why are these people just out like sizzling in the sun? And they were just like, I don't know, you shouldn't be though. And I was like, I agree. So I went all the way back, kind of pulled a Karen. I don't like doing that, but I was pissed. And it's like, we paid a shit ton of money for this. Like, my fiance has a heart condition. We can't be out in the sun constantly. And I asked why there wasn't like a canopy or something over the handicap spot. And she just goes, well, it'll block the view for later on. I'm like, there's like hardly any people around there. It's just literally disabled people on a platform. And she was just like, well, we can't do anything about it. So I was like, okay. And I went back. My fiance was cooking at that point, and I was just like, do you want to just go? He's like, yeah. And then it took us about 3 hours for us to find our car, because the little like alarm on it, it was a rental car, but we assumed that since there's Wi-Fi blockers around the event to keep people from live streaming it, we think it fucked with the Bluetooth capabilities of our car, or like the horn system, because we tried pressing the alarm button, would not go off at all. So we spent like 3 hours in our parking lot trying to find our rental car. And the guys
in the sun.
In the sun. Thankfully, there were some trees in the parking lot at least, but we were trying so hard, and these like parking management people just would not help us find our car. And we were just like, can you just like drive us around in one of your golf carts? And they were just like, no. And the one guy who was in charge just like rode his little golf cart away. And we're just like, what the fuck?
Fucking quid. I mean, dollars. That's mad.
We were so pissed. So we flagged down a cyclist that was offering to go around and get people to their cars for, certain amount of money. Flagged one of them down, and my fiance's like, if you can help us find our car, I will give you double. And so he did, and it was kind of fun, but it was also just kind of nice to have the wind in our hair and actually cool down for a bit.
Was it like a pedicab or something?
Kind of. It was like dude was actually really nice because he knew we'd been out there for a while, and he like offered to only take 20, but when we found the car, we were just like, oh my god, no, thank you, please take all this money. And the only reason we found our car is we noticed that a gift from one of our friends we had put in the very back seat, and we were just like, wait, that's it, and we were just ecstatic, and left and got back to our B&B and just relaxed in bed. Now, this is where the incident comes up where people didn't get to see Susie or most of Iggy Pop, I believe. This was back when Twitter was still a thing. Wasn't X yet. At least I don't think it was. We were on Twitter and we were just kind of seeing the live, what our friends are doing. And I think James from Male Tears was there, Maddie, our friend Manny. So we were just kind of watching their feeds. And they were talking about how Iggy was playing and a child went up to sing with him. And the joke is that the child cursed the event and caused the whole thing to basically explode. But what happened was there was supposedly supposed to be a rainstorm, but only one lightning went off, like in the very far distance. And that was enough for the concert to just be like, okay, we need to shut down everything. And they told everyone to get out. Concert was over. So Iggy Pop had barely played. Susie hadn't gone on at all. And everyone is being scrambled to get the fuck out.
I heard about this, or it might have been a different one in the same situation. Was that where everyone got stuck in the car park for like 3 days or something?
Not for 3 days, no. But it was a mess because the parking instructors that we dealt with, they were all drunk.
Fuck you, I'm drunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk.
And they were not helping anybody get out, and it was just an absolute traffic mess.
Welcome to Fire Festival.
Yeah, it was like that, and thankfully people weren't like dying or anything, but it was kind of chaotic, and we're just like, oh my god, like checking in our friends to make sure they're all okay and not being trampled to death or anything. After that, a lot of people were pissed because Cruel World was like, oh well, we'll plan on Susie and Iggy still playing tomorrow. You know, we'll make up for it. But a lot of people had already bought tickets to see The Cure the next day, not too far from Susie. And they were just like, well, I can't go.
Not to mention some people would have flights booked home and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And no hotel to stay in, so forth.
There were a shit ton of people that flew there, specifically just to see Susie Sue and no one else. So, yeah, they were all pissed. And then Cruel World was like, oh, we'll give you a refund. So my fiance signed up for the refund and never got it.
Bull fucking shit!
No, the land of the free, shouldn't it be quite easy to sue for that sort of thing?
You would think, but I mean, again, this is the same company that put on Firefest, so they obviously could get away with murder.
You should make a video about this.
Oh, yes!
I've been wanting to, and I still have video footage from that day. I even have video footage of me just bitching into the camera about what the fuck is going on while I'm coming back from the handicap stall talking about the bullshit. And I didn't mean to like yell at the girl either. I even told her like, this is not usually me. I know this is not your fault, but I'm fucking pissed.
Heat does things to people.
Yeah. And like I said, I totally understand that heat is a thing you have to deal with in a festival. I get it. But you do have to accommodate people, especially when they pay a shit ton of money to be accommodated to. It's not hard to get a bus or rent a bus and just have the AC going the entire time and just let people sit on the bus.
Was the water extortionate?
Yeah. Yeah, and then they did have water spots, which I did appreciate that. And we did use that quite a bit. Water wasn't like freezing cold or anything, but you know, you just need water. And the parasols, we still got them downstairs. Like, I kind of wanted to throw them away, and my fiance was like, no, we went through hell to get these.
I went to the festival and all I got was this terrible parasol.
Mm-hmm. But we also got all of our free shit too, and I was just like there was a Cruel World patch in it, and I was just like, oh, just throw that away.
I don't want people to know I've been.
Yeah, I don't want people to know I've been there, like, at all.
That is insanity.
Yeah, like a lot of our other friends did have fun despite the end of it being like that, but at the same time, if you are disabled and you plan on going to one of these festivals, look up everything. Like, print out the fucking, like, list of ADA stuff. And if they don't follow that to a T, fucking mark that and, like, report it. So that those fuckers can get sued, because that's not appropriate.
Did they have camping? Did they have disabled camping?
Disabled camping? They had disabled parking.
Okay, that's something.
But we didn't even get that because we thought that was part of the package too, but apparently it wasn't.
I think one thing about festivals in Europe, they don't do it in the UK, but there's a Wacken. They let you bring your car onto their campsites, which is really cool and useful. Problem is, if it rains, it becomes the Somme.
Yeah.
Which was really bad a few years. But in Europe, they do festivals a lot easier and better. But like the disabled thing I've seen at festivals here, they always have some sort of cover, and it's always like center on the main stage.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, protect everybody. Don't put them up on a skillet.
That's awful. That's like a Woodstock situation you went through.
Almost, yeah. if I could have gotten all the other disabled people angry and throw shit, probably would have been a Woodstock situation. But when there's only like 10 other people to riot, it's not really much of a riot.
It's a quiet riot. Did you so what else gigs have you been to or planning to go to?
We did go. Like I said, I did get to see Urban Heat again. My fiance got us tickets to go see. I think we actually got to go for free because my fiance helps run Vision Videos Discord. So we actually got to go up to Kansas City and go see Vision Video and Urban Heat, and that was really nice. So
Awesome.
that made up for the whole thing, and and of course Dusty's really nice. The guy from Urban Heat is really nice, but I didn't talk to him because he's too pretty. So I'm really shy around someone that pretty.
Did you fangirl?
And I did the traditional St. Louis thing, which is wait outside and watch the crew pack their stuff because I'm like terrified that people are gonna steal their shit. Because like musicians in St. Louis, they tend to just leave their stuff out and not have someone watch it. And I don't know if this is just not a normal thing anywhere else, but in St. Louis, you have to keep an eye on your equipment. If you're a musician listening to this, keep an eye on your fucking equipment, because chances are it's going to get stolen.
How many times have we seen on social media a band was on tour and somebody stole the van, or they broke in and took all their good stuff, or a couple of instruments, and then it completely screws their tour because any profit they've made is now gone. They're probably in debt. Yeah, it sucks. It's a horrible thing to do. That's like breaking into a tradies van and stealing all his tools.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, so if you're in a band...
the livelihood.
Yeah, if you're in a band I don't mean to victim blame, but don't just leave your stuff out in the street, man. It's not safe.
When I did gigs, I kept my stuff an eye on it like a hawk. Instrumental. Regardless.
Yeah, when doing load-ins for DJing and that, we do the same thing. We always make sure there's someone watching. Or I can quickly unload it inside the door of the venue, then carry it through myself. If I can't carry it all in one go. It depends on how much gear I've got.
Yeah.
I cover it up, like, literally. I put stuff over it,
Yeah. This crew was fine with,
can't trust anyone.
No. This crew was good at, like, guarding their stuff. It's just almost a force of habit for me, especially when, like, my friends are talking to the band or something. So I'm just like, I'm going to stand out here and just keep an eye on things.
Yeah. You look out for them.
Force of habit.
With your local live gigs and that, you tend to look out for each other where you can anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is good. It's always some asshole that comes on that's got nothing to do with the gig that's an opportunist.
Yep.
Generally,
absolutely.
You ain't done any more gigs, or should we move on to Joe for that one? Joe?
Oh, let's see, gigs. Well, nothing really.
Like, what you've been to see or planning to see?
Yep, nothing really in the way of goth or industrial gigs as such. Perturbator came, but I wasn't able to go to that. We don't tend to get many in Adelaide. They usually, when they tour Australia, they do the Eastern Seaboard, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and then maybe they'll do a date in New Zealand, but screw the rest of Australia. We've had a couple of good artists like Molchat Doma come and play at Dark Mofo in Tasmania, but that's a weird one because it's like a festival, but it goes for about 2 or 3 weeks. So everything's spaced out.
That's nice.
As far as Adelaide goes, though, Health is coming in a few months, I think. If you've heard of them.
No.
Kind of an industrially act.
Oh, I love Health.
I don't know much industrial.
So, might go see them. I'm not really into their music, but hey, if you don't support what comes, you won't get anything else.
Right.
Especially in Australia.
As for the stuff that we have gone to, though, my partner has made me take her to a couple of things that I'm not really a fan of.
Was it black metal?
No, she's not into metal. My son is. My son
there we
is.
There we go.
He's the metalhead, and I could see me taking him to a gig when he's underage, if he can go, and if the parent's allowed to accompany. I'm cool with that. If he gets to go to a cool gig, that's what he's into. That's awesome. My son actually used to work the door a little bit at my stuff. My oldest son, after he turned 18, which was handy. He isn't really doing anything at the moment. My daughter comes to my DJing events at the Geeky and the furry events and that, and she loves it. But yeah, as far as other gigs that my partner maybe takes to, the first one was Glenn Shorrock, who is basically an old Australian rock artist. We're talking mainly 60s, 70s music that I'm not really into. The other one was James Rain. He was in a few Aussie pub rock bands and that, plus he's done solo stuff. Pretty well known here. I'm not sure if he's that well known overseas. You may have heard of the band Australian Crawl. That was one of the bands he was in. But the one that we were going to go to a month ago was actually part of the Adelaide Fringe Festival. It was a yacht rock revival night. Do you know what yacht rock is?
It sounds to me like butt rock, but I might.
Well, it's actually it's soft rock, basically rock. From the late 70s to early 80s. And I looked at the bands because they're like a party band doing, if you call it a party, and it was like, oh God, I'm gonna hate this. But then, unfortunately for my son, he got hit by a car a couple of days before we were going to go.
I'm really sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, he's at home now recovering. Broke his collarbone, broke his knee, broke his nose. He landed face first, so if he wasn't wearing his helmet, it could have been a lot worse. But he's getting there. But we looked at that and thought, well, it wouldn't feel right going to party. While secretly inside, I'm like, yes.
You wouldn't enjoy yourself anyway.
Yeah.
Even if it was something you were looking forward to. It'd just be on your mind.
I would have gone anyway. I mean, we bought a couple of costume things like sailors' hats and shit to, sort of try and get into it a bit.
The things we did
also,
did they manage to catch the person who did it?
Yeah, it wasn't a hit and run or anything. We're still sort of sorting all that out. But yeah, I'm not going to go into that. I've also played most recently at the City Record Club. I played records there in February. And the next time I want to play is in May because they do it the third Sunday of the month, which happens to be right almost on top of World Goth Day. So guess what I'm going to be playing a lot of?
Folk Mel.
Get out.
It's the forbidden music.
Well, last year it happened to hit right after Record Store Day, and I got my copy of Reptile House EP by Sisters of Mercy. So of course I played something from that. I haven't bought a lot of records recently. It's just I haven't really had the. I used to go record shopping with my mate, and we had a falling out. But yeah, as far as local events go, though, one of the events is run by my mate I had a falling out called Dark Entries, and that's happening every 1 or 2 months. And it looks like they're doing all right. It's like, well, we've had issues, but I hope they do well. The other event is New Blood, and the problem is because I don't really feel like I can go to New Blood either because he's guest DJ'd there, it's kind of a regular there. It's like, I can't really go anywhere right now. So I've been leaning into the other stuff, and I've been trying to organise live streaming again. But I got that all set up, and various things keep happening and stopping me, and
life's a bitch.
Life is. So yeah, I guess as far as future gigs go, it depends on what pops up. I'll try and go see Health when they come because it could be a fun night. It depends on what local gigs come up too. Sometimes you get good local bands. I mean, Rule of Thirds were a great local band. I kept putting off going to see them until finally they broke up. I was like, oh. And I actually had to import their record when I bought it. I had to get it from like interstate. Yeah, if I went to one of their gigs, I could have bought it straight from the band. So, little information for everyone out there. Don't put off going to gigs unless you really, 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 really have to.
Yep.
Because you never know when they're not going to come back, or the band might split, and all sorts of things can happen. We might have another pandemic. That was a problem too. And by the way, Wayne Hussey, The Mission, you owe us a gig for the one you cancelled 5 years ago.
Fuckers.
I was looking, everyone really wanted that to happen, but no. Meanwhile, Sisters of Mercy have come and played twice within that time period.
I miss Sisters of Mercy and I was so angry. I think I was on lates that week, working lates that week. I was like, I put it off and it was still available, and then it just, like the day before, there was like tickets available, and then they just sold out. I was like, so angry.
I did too.
The thing with Sisters of Mercy, though, is a lot of people go, oh, they suck now. It's like, if you go in expecting post-Vision Thing sound, that's what you're going to get. You also have to go in expecting them not to play Temple of Love properly. Because they don't now.
Remixes of that.
But that's just what it is. It's still one hell of a fun gig. We found here, because when they came the first time, I saw them in Adelaide and Melbourne. Initially booked tickets to go to Melbourne, then they added an Adelaide gig. So, well, looks like I'm seeing them twice. And I'm glad I did, because the atmosphere at the gig here was completely different to the atmosphere in Melbourne. It was a lot more intimate here. Whereas in Melbourne, you had a bigger venue. It was different. Like, it was really cool, though, because you had a real mix of people. People often think, oh, it's just going to be Gothic. No, they were metalheads, punks. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of old people that were just dressed as normies, because that's what happens as you get older. But you're still a fan.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
It brought all the people I hadn't seen in like 20 years out of the woodwork. It was great.
Plus, you get to see Grandpa Andrew, the original Cranky Goth Poser.
Oh, he does a lot of posing on stage, and I think it's wonderful. Like, people say, oh, he's really like mechanical and that and such. That's just his performing style.
Mm-hmm.
He deliberately gets into these poses and does all that. It's great when you want to take a photo, because he's going to hold the pose and sing for a few seconds before changing.
That sounds like a very 80s way of doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And of course, lots of smoke machine. And people say, oh, you can't see him for the smoke machine. It's like, nah, didn't have that problem at either venue here. If you have an opportunity to see Sisters, if they're on your bucket list, even if you think it's going to be crap, just go. See them once.
Yeah.
And if they're crap, never speak of it again.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, I believe Dean is up next.
Yeah, you want to just do a music break before I start? My music choice for this podcast will be The Field of Love. The song is by The Shallow Graves. It was released in 2013, and it's on the album Smokescreen for Your Broken Dream, and the band is from Germany. Take it away, Joe.
Sighing with a smile on his face. It's the day
pictures. We both see the loneliness of picturing, but then what are we in the end? The field of love was ever won. Our dreams are sent in a great lament to a place where all good things left undone. This place I call home in the end. The field of love was ever won. Our dreams are sent in a great lament to a place where all good things left undone. This place I call home in the end. The field of love was a burned one. Our dreams are sent in a great lament to a place where all good things left undone. This place I call home.
Right, gigs. I went to see Incubus Succubus a few months back.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, no. It was actually a small venue in Nottingham. It was, I think it's Road something. I forgot what it's bloody called now. Anyway, if for those that don't know, it's next to Void, the goth shop. And yeah, it was a very small venue, and they played a good set. They played a lot of the older stuff, which I was happy about. They're actually still doing a tour around the UK for something different. They're doing witchcraft and lore, like a lecture for people to learn about that, which is really cool. But they're also doing it all the old guild halls in the UK, in the old town areas. So like that's where they're all medieval buildings. So it's like adds to the vibe. And so they're doing discussions on witchcraft and history, which is really weird.
I have a bit of an Incubus Succubus story I'll quickly throw in. I used to have a copy of Vampire Erotica. It was one of the first CDs I'd ever bought, and I bought it on the recommendation of the door lady at Proscenium. She's like, oh, you might like this band. So I went to the CD shop, who happened to have it. It cost me about $30 at the time, so it was not cheap. But, oh my God, it's one of those albums. I knew a couple of songs from it beforehand, but it's one of those albums I could listen to from beginning to end and like every track.
Oh, the best, yeah.
Yeah, not exactly something that happens all the time. So, over the years, I lost my copy, and I went on to Discogs to try and find another one. If anyone was selling it, they wanted at least $40 Australian plus postage for them. But recently, Incubus Succubus did like a special limited edition thing, and they promoted it through their website. So I thought, I'll go there and see what else they've got.
Awesome.
Went through. They were selling the CDs still. You could get them signed. They'd send it signed for you.
They're really good with that sort of thing. They really do care about their fans.
Here's the best part though. Including postage for a personally signed copy, it was under $20 Australian.
Damn.
Nice.
And
no
compared to
either.
$30 that I paid in the late 90s, which would be more like $45 today, you know? And I'm paying under half that, and I'm getting a signed copy direct from the band. How good's that?
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's
I know
really
it's just
good.
I'm not really sure how big they are these days, or how big they were like in the 90s, because they seem to, everyone knows them, but I don't really know how much they do or how big the venues are these days for them. I think they've kind of gone a little bit underground, which is fine because it's better venues for me anyway.
When I was getting back into things, because I took a few years off due to family and stuff, young family, special needs kids, things like that, I started getting back into things in 2007, and I'm like, oh, Incubus Succubus came and played a couple of months ago, and I'm like, oh, what? I missed it!
Yeah.
They haven't been back since. It'd be really cool if they came back.
Funny, I was talking to a guy outside, and it was one of the quote-unquote elder goths. Really nice guy. He was like lecturing me on, bloody hell, what's the name of the band? Because I ain't listened to much of them. Fields of Nephilim. I was like, I don't really know much by him. And he's like, well, if you want pure goth, you got to listen to the first album. And I'm like, it's just like, yep, you've got to listen to that album. He's a really nice chap. There's not much to that story. I was just like, the cliche of when you've been around a while and the first album always is the best album.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
I don't know if, again, I haven't listened to much by them, but if you can comment on the first album, if you've heard much of it.
I do have it on vinyl. It was actually given to me by a mate who had 2 copies. He actually bought 2 different copies, one because the record was in really good condition and the other one because the cover was in really good condition. So he wanted the really good one. So I got the one where the record was not perfect and the cover is pretty worn. But he said, oh, just give me $10 for it or buy me a beer or whatever. And so we ended up sort of... That's the old beer economy. That's how I acquired my Spike choker when I was younger. I got it off of a punk who decided, I don't want this anymore. And I said, okay, cool. What do you want for it? He just said, yeah, just buy me a beer. And at the time, a beer was only $2 or $3. So it was like, bargain. It doesn't fit me anymore, unfortunately, but it's still pretty cool to have. It's still in excellent condition, well made.
Pass it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's now a holy relic. It's the elitist Joe relic plus 5 goth.
Back in my poser days.
For the upcoming, I'm going to Whitby, the Holy Land. I've been there a few times in the past. For
Are you going to Whitby Goth weekend or tomorrow's Ghosts?
At the end of April, so the Whitby Goth weekend.
Yep.
I've been there a lot over the years. Even was in a newspaper, but I was dressed as a cyber goth, so you can all boo me. Long time ago.
That's okay. I used to be typecast as an industrial DJ. And I've got the when they did the Goths for Sophie calendar, it was actually a photo from me at the cyber industrial event I ran. So
is that the one with the mohawk thing in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was from Angel Spit, those ones they sold them. I've had that thing for years.
Oh yeah, they've sold those at all their concerts.
Yeah, so shameless self-promotion, I have done a guide on my YouTube channel for anyone who wants to go to Whitby. I've listed a basic general guide for how to get there on the cheap, basic guide to eat at certain times, and a little bit with dogs because it gets packed in Whitby. Whitby is a tiny town, like tiny village at the coast, and it's very isolated. So if you're taking your dogs, it's very narrow cobbled medieval streets.
Yep.
So the problem is it gets rammed, and all I could hear was people's dogs getting tripped on or stood on. Risk of injury. I mean, I have a Pomeranian myself. Shameless. You know what I'm like with my Pom. So I hate the thought of them getting injured. So that's some advice in there. I've listed every goth shop. I've listed every spiritual shop. And I've given a few other things you can see, including the Hand of Glory, which is in the museum, which is it's a magical item that was used by thieves in the medieval times from a hanged man's hand. Used the wax and fat in it to make a candle, and you'd burn it. And the law behind it is that the people you're robbing would stay asleep as long as it's lit. So you've got to go see a dead man's hand. Other than that, yeah, hopefully I'll be doing it properly this year, because every other time I've gone over the years it's been a day trip, and getting a hotel in Whitby is a nightmare because they jack up the prices.
Yeah, it would be.
So
tourist
I'm doing
season
it proper this time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But there's always something going on in Whitby, different events. Last time I went was not for that, it was just for fun and photography, and it was still rammed because there was a mod and bike and caravan festival all going on at the same time.
Oh joy. Whitby sounds like England's, well, I should say it should be the other way around. Salem is America's Whitby.
I'd say that.
And that's probably controversial to say that, because
I'm a little bit
of Americans
funny
be like,
Salem.
hey!
I'm a little bit funny about Salem because, as a dude who loves history, I don't like the monetization of non-people who were killed for,
Yeah.
just because someone wanted land. They weren't witches, they were Christians. So
At least Whitby, it's just about Dracula, which is fiction.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
Dun dun dun. But I mean, I'd love to see it because Americans go all out when it comes to things like this, so that it could be fun. But at the end of the day, there is a bit of a funny thing for me. You know, it's making money from a tragedy.
Yeah, the fact that we don't have a absolute goth festival that's actually ran by goths and not some corporate fucking company is an absolute shame.
There was a wee bit of drama with Whitby or something because I think the owner got it taken off her now a few years back for the I don't know the ins and outs of it, but they're also the old school goths were getting mad because it was getting filled of steampunks.
Oh,
I find that interesting.
Steampunks and cosplayers, but cosplayers everywhere now.
The thing is, people are also getting angry about Whitby being full of weekenders, as Angela Benedict would say. Yeah, people just dressing up for the occasion. I don't give a crap, because at the end of the day, if your town is full of people dressed as goths and alternatives, what's not to hate? Especially
as long as people are behaving and asking, like, same with cosplay rules, as long as you're asking for consent with photos and you're not being a dick, no one really cares.
I did note a lot. You will get your photo taken if you stand out a little bit, with or without consent. Most do ask, but I don't really give a damn. But I can see how it annoyed people. It's like I was walking from the Whale Bones, the 199 steps, which is about 15 minutes across the village, and just kept getting stopped constantly. And my friends who were with me just walked away because they just got annoyed with it.
Yeah.
Not bragging, just saying that's the sort of thing that will happen if you dress uniquely. But the people who are supposedly weekenders don't dress like a death rocker or a trad goth. They dress like a Victorian version. So it's not like it's taking any of our culture, you know what I mean? Because Victorian goth is what? It's a cosplay in itself, really.
Yeah.
It's not if they're dressing as death rockers, I'd probably have a bit of a problem with it because that'd be a bit weird. But they're just dressing as Gothic Victorians, which is Gothic in itself, really.
Or steampunks.
Yeah, well, steampunks is nothing, isn't it, really? There's no history to it in that.
It's all based on difference between the same era as Victorian anyway.
Yeah, it's based on fiction, so that's not taking anyone's culture, so to speak.
Yeah, that's why I kind of like steampunk in a way. Like, I respect them, but I'm not, like, in depth into them. We actually have a steampunk festival here in Missouri. I haven't been to it yet, but I want to go simply because there's, like, a robot teapot battle where they make robots out of teapots and then battle them. And it's like, that sounds amazing. I want to go to that.
They were doing the one nearby in I forgot the name, somewhat on Trent. They were doing a steampunk festival and they were doing like fights with umbrellas, but there were like rules to it. It was like a duel. It was safe. No one was getting hurt, but there were like moves you could do to counter other moves. It was very strange, and obviously
kind of like LARPing. By the sounds of it.
Yeah.
It looked
We've had a steampunk festival here too at the Port Railway Museum, which is a really appropriate place because they've got some of the old steam trains there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something that came up earlier when you were going on about Sisters of Mercy was that there are people who are dressed down as they get older. I was just curious what people's opinion is on that. I don't mean it's in a judgmental way, I'm just meaning like a philosophy of it. Because for myself, I don't think I could ever do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I kind of dress down, but for me, dressing down, I'm still wearing black clothes. I'm still wearing t-shirts. I tend to wear shorts more because my legs are a bit weird. And Australia. And I mean, as far as footwear goes, I can't even wear my Doc Martens anymore because of fluid retention.
Oof.
They shred my ankles.
Yeah.
Even with socks. So
Dockers are awful nowadays anyway.
I just tend to, I actually went and bought a second-hand pair of made in England ones that are fantastic. My son has them now because I can't wear them.
Aye.
But I mean, a lot of the time I'm wearing sandals. You know,
off subject. Is there
sandal goth is a real goth.
Crocs? Goth Crocs?
No, I don't wear Crocs anymore.
anymore.
Have you ever walked on a wet concrete surface wearing Crocs?
Well, no, I wouldn't
Think I
learn.
have.
You'll end up falling tits up. Happened too many times. Whereas the sandals, I can walk on wet concrete, not a problem.
Is there a thing in Australia for people walking around barefoot? I saw it as some sort of
In
meme.
some places, yes. In
Like
summer,
everywhere.
some people do. Or they're wearing thongs. Or as they call them elsewhere, because thongs mean
Flip-flops.
something else, flip-flops.
Flip-flops, we call them.
Flippy floppies.
I mean, flip-flop makes sense, because when you walk and go flip-flop, flip-flop, you
Yeah.
don't walk along going thong, 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 thong.
That's such a British way of naming things, flip-flop.
Yeah.
It's an onomatopoeia. It's like we're on you call them shopping carts, and we have trolleys.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Everything
trolleys.
else has this weird, nice, playful word for things at the end of the sentence. At the end of the word, sorry. Yeah, so on that, I'm just surprised at the people's philosophy. I know that some people dress down because it's easier and, you have kids and whatnot, and you can't be bothered to get ready or do the makeup, and you still
Yeah. And
Please.
work.
But I feel sad that some people feel that they're too old to dress that way anymore.
Oh, I think some of it is also just like what Joe said. A lot of people, they can't do certain things anymore.
You dress
Like
for
with-
comfort.
Yeah, you dress for comfort. And like I'm not gonna dress to the nines to go to the grocery store. Like I'll try and dress nice.
That's a meme.
Yeah, I've been getting into wearing more poet shirts and like palazzo pants or like bell bottoms. Of course, being all black or red or dark green, like darker colors. As far as if I'm just going to the fucking grocery store, I'm going in PJs. I don't care.
Yeah.
Best part was when I was like 14, 15, I would dress to the nines to go to the shop. But that's another thing. I guess you don't really care so much about fitting in because you know what you are, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to advertise anymore.
Nah.
That's it. I stopped wearing jeans all full time now because I used to if I wasn't wearing, those gothy corduroy type
Yeah.
things, the fast fashion ones that you used to just wear jeans, but now I just wear, I don't even know what they are. Baggy trousers, I guess. I'm into. No, not calling them pants.
No, oh, that's right, British trousers.
You call them pants in Australia?
Well, sometimes. Pants,
It's
trousers.
slipping in here.
We tend to mix it up.
Recently, I've gone pinstripe. It's pinstripe all the time for trousers now.
Why not?
It's
classy.
I noticed older goths
Yeah.
start doing that. The older goth.
There's also the joke of every goth turns into like an elder rockabilly person, which that is common here in America.
What sort of rockabilly do you mean?
Like a lot of the women will start dressing more in like the pinup style.
Yeah, pin-up. That's what I was imagining.
Yeah, and then like the men will have like the greased back hair, roll of black t-shirts, which it is very simple look
I
to
think
do.
I've
But-
noticed here it's either pin-up or fetish.
Yeah.
Or not toned down fetish. Yeah.
Sometimes both.
Ah, yeah. Good point. I'm going to bring it up because I was laughing about it last night with Meg. I was looking because my beautiful Pomeranian, love of my life dog, decided to eat my New Rock laces, and I was going around the official website trying to find some replacements, and I came across, I'll put some in the video, of the furniture by New Rock, which I found, which looks absolutely ghastly. And it's literally, I'm trying to figure out for myself why New Rock would do this, because like these sofas are like 1.5 thousand.
They look like they're from IKEA.
They do. They're absolutely awful. And you think if it's New Rock, it would like have some form of uniqueness about them, but they were just like leather-skinned sofas with a big New Rock icon world label on it.
Well, it has to have the New Rock icon, otherwise how would people
Not
know?
all of them did. Not all of them did. That's the worst part.
So
But
what
yeah,
you're saying is New Rock is trying their hand at becoming Killstar.
I won't go that far because they've always had something on it. But all of their stuff that's outside of shoes, which have got worse over the years, I'll add, they've become a bit.
They're
boring.
trying to go lifestyle brand.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, you've nailed it on the head there. They sometimes put some really nice ones, but it's like they get rid of some designs after a while, which the more nicer ones, which I've been wanting for years, and then they just disappear forever, and then they come back like a few years later. But by then, I've probably got a new pair, and
And all
like,
that's
oh,
left
I'll put
is garish tat.
Yeah. Dean, you can share the screen to show us what the furniture looks like. That way Joe can see too.
Oh, sure.
Or we could just wait till the finished product.
I mean, I can add it after. It's
What?
literally
You don't
just
watch your own videos?
I do.
I do.
I know. I'm just saying, like,
And I
to
hate my voice.
get a real reaction from Joe.
Yeah. I mean, I can just copy one in quickly.
Do you know
I can
how?
edit this bit out. New Rock sofa, shall we say? Shall we say, per se?
Yeah, if you
That's
just
fine.
click share screen and choose where to share.
There's one. They are fucking awful. I'll put it in our Facebook feed because that'll be quicker.
That works.
Okay, that works. Oh, this
There you
will be interesting. And of course, during the video itself, we'll be popping whatever photos are there. And it's a good exercise because we're probably going to do
Okay, that
reaction
couch
stuff
is
and that.
actually nice. That's not the one you showed me.
Oh, I mean, I can go further.
Yeah,
Show you.
like that couch I would actually like.
I mean, yeah, but it's just you're paying for a logo, though, aren't you?
It looks like something you'd find in
This,
a BDSM dungeon.
yeah, the studs. I think the studs are actually skulls, though, so there's at least a little something different about that.
True. As long as it doesn't look like a couch from some horrible porn movie.
No, I was thinking the beige couches you were showing me. Dean.
Oh, my bad. I'll put them up. They are, to be fair, I was going for better ones, but
Hang on. Okay, so we've got this chair here.
I'm going to put the golden New Rocks up.
There's not really
the
much
New
to
Rocks.
that chair.
Okay, I
It's-
like the gold New Rocks. I'm trying to
I
go
call
to
it-
like.
I call it the New Rock of 1,000 moshes. You unlock it when you've been in 1,000 mosh pits.
the
Yeah,
gold New Rocks. Okay, here we go. So it's kind of like got gold at the front, and the rest is black. Lots of chains.
I purely did that for the memes.
It's got the change instead of the laces that a lot of New Rocks have everywhere, including through the hole at the bottom. Oh, the plates on the bottom are gold as well. But the plate that goes underneath between the heel and the front is not gold.
That could just be the picture. I'm not really sure.
Oh, cost saving.
Maybe.
The Ottoman. Got the New Rock
And
Ottoman.
it's probably not real gold anyway, so
No, of course not.
Probably
doesn't
not.
matter.
But
Finding a shoe polish that
Yeah.
matches that gold is going to be a bit of a bastard, though.
Oh, I found
True.
a leopard print one.
A leopard print shoe polish.
No.
I'm thinking, how would
Leopard
that
print.
work?
Leopard print.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so this is like a seating
print New Rock
bench
sofa.
here. Wait a minute. Oh my god.
ugh,
What's next? Houndstooth?
that doesn't even look leopard print.
Okay, I've got a really bad one. I found like the creme de la creme.
That looks like it should be in a massage parlor
Or in an Apple store.
or like one of the Apple store or like one of those nail tech
It's
places.
like
I can go worse.
it
this
looks
one-
like a collaboration between New Rock and Lazy Boy.
yeah.
This is $1,000.
Ugh,
Well, euros actually.
way too modern.
Ugh.
Way too modern for me.
Let's see.
Hang on.
I'm gonna quickly go down.
Little behind here. Let's see. The heck is that? Yeah, that's one of those whole okay, like a modern laying, reclining couch thingy.
Lounge.
A lounge.
Modern fainting
Yeah.
couch.
Yes.
They are disgusting. That's 1,559 euros.
I'm kind of,
Bloody
I'm a
hell.
little bit amazed that they haven't, like, they're working with all this white furniture. How come they haven't made white new rocks? I haven't seen any.
There is some.
There is some?
Yeah. They're usually white with black smaller parts.
Okay.
So like, like the flame ones, you'd have black on the flames, but the rest of it would be white.
Okay, those actually sound cool.
Yeah, we had the white goth, so to speak, so they would be inverted.
There's still a couple people that do that.
Yeah.
I think they're insane, but, good on them.
The greater spotted white goth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've got one. Oh, this one's almost $2,000. Oh, well, this is the last one I'm going to show. Gotta be sick. Gotta be sick.
Oh, that's too shiny.
It's so shiny.
That looks like it's lubed.
That reminds me of, how they used to have inflatable furniture?
Yeah.
Yes. I had a chair.
I had an inflatable Christmas tree.
That's kind of cute.
That's $2,000.
$2,000 for something you could have bought in the 90s that was inflatable.
Or your grandma's couch covering.
That too. At least if you ever
just
spill anything on it, you can clean it easy enough.
Yeah. If it's too hot out, you're sticking right to that, though.
You just hose the thing down. Not a problem. Drag it outside, get the hose it down, wait for it to dry, bring it in.
Well,
just
now
looking at it makes you know that it's seen $1,000.
So we're on to weird stuff we've seen now, I guess.
If you want to contribute, go for it.
Yes, I do, because this has been a new thing.
Here's ones you made earlier.
Yeah, the Elf and Liquid Death corpse paint collection.
Ah, yes.
So, I'm not sure. Do either of you have like Elf cosmetics or Liquid Death where you guys are?
We have Liquid Death.
No, but we have the internet.
Okay, I just
generally means we can acquire anything.
But,
yay, modern world.
Well, I just wanted to ask because those two brands are involved in this, but Liquid Death is a water company, and they basically sell canned aluminum water. They also do sparkling waters and stuff like that. It's a good brand. Like a lot, they've actually saved. Their whole goal is to never use plastic.
Okay.
So it's a good brand, and I'm drinking a can right now, and it's good water. So
cans are recyclable.
Yeah, and it's recyclable.
This ad is sponsored by Liquid Death. Liquid Death, the best drink you can have.
But is it black?
Is the water black?
You could get. Remember they used to have black water?
Yeah, no, the water is not black. But the can is basically it also kind of helps people with alcoholism because it comes in tall boy cans. And it's actually been kind of a problem recently where a lot of people think that they're drinking booze in the car, and it's just like, no, it's Liquid Death, it's just water. When I was buying
how some energy drink cans and bottles look like alcohol as well. Or edgy Alco Pops.
I almost got carded at the store for this, and I was like panicking because I think I accidentally left my wallet in the car, and I was like, wait a minute, this is just water. Carded, like they wanted to check my ID, make sure I was old enough.
Oh. There's been
Sorry, ma'am, you're not old enough to drink water. You have to stick to milk.
Yep. Moving on, Elf Cosmetics is a cosmetic brand for like cheap makeup. I've bought quite a bit from them. Best cheap black lipstick you could find, and probably one of the few that started selling black lipstick. And then they took a break from it for a while, and a lot of people were pissed off about that, so they went back to selling it. So these two brands decided to collaborate, and they made a corpse paint collection.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Corpse Elf. I'll just send the link.
See, if you plug Corpse Paint Elf into a search engine, you get pictures of elf cosplayers at black metal gigs.
Yeah, elf is more of a, it's an acronym, so it's like eyes, lip, face.
In Formula One, you used to see elf written on so many cars because they were like
That's true.
an oil or car parts or something. It's like, oh, okay.
Just looking, it looks very Killstar.
It is, and like the only bad thing about it is I almost bought it because these are two brands I've always been a little bit dedicated to, so I was like, oh, I'll maybe get that, you know. But
put them together, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah,
Slay your look.
Part of the elitist.
Oh, it comes in a coffin.
Part of the elitist metalhead part within me hates this, but I also find it's really funny.
Oh, the ad is hilarious. I'll see if I can share that actually on the screen to get a reaction from Joe and you.
Aye. I mean, I listen to a bit of black metal, but mostly the older stuff like Bathory, and mostly only the folk metal stuff. So,
ooh, the picture just loaded. Look, drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
No, no, not for me.
I mean, not gonna judge someone who buys it, alright, but it's just
slay the corpse paint trend with these killer pics. Inspired by Elf and Liquid Death.
I know it's taking a piss out of it, so that's why I find it. That's why it's actually funny to me, because I really can't take it too seriously. But then again, I can't take over the top black metal as seriously either. So you know.
Oh yeah, it's definitely more of a joke.
Yeah.
Liquid Death is just kind of like that too. A lot of their advertising is just not taking it seriously at all. But I'll go ahead and share the ad for you guys.
There was a guy who was download in like 2006. My mate's brother. It was like someone asked him if he brushed his teeth. It's like, "Are you brushing your teeth?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a metalhead. I only brush my teeth with beer." I'm just like, oh god.
That sounds like an Australian thing to do.
Foster's, even though Foster's ain't a thing in Australia.
Yeah. Oh, that's the crap we sell to people overseas.
Yeah, the ads are like back in the day for Foster's over here. Were
it's
like,
Australian for beer.
Yeah, it's like Australia's greatest beer, and I'm just like, it's pig swill to them.
So it might not be able to record this since it's a commercial, but I don't see why it wouldn't.
We have many great beers in Australia, and Foster's is not one of them. Though Foster's Crown Lager isn't bad, but that's the hoity-toity Foster's, not the Barry McKenzie drinking beer in the movie with everyone pouring beer all over their hats out of the cans. If you've ever seen The Adventures of Barry McKenzie.
No, sorry.
All right.
Are you ready for this, Joe? I want to watch you explode.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay.
All right, here we go.
They've got... Look at them! Look at their posters! Look at the room! I can't hear any volume from it. I don't think I need to.
No, you don't.
You know what this reminds me of? That picture that was going around a few years back of this, like, cute little tea party happening in a house with, like, a choir leader on one side and a corpse-painted death metal person, and they're having tea.
That guy reminds me of is it from that Metalhead movie? I forgot what it is. Oh, I forgot. Oh well. What do you think, Joe?
What do I think? Yeah, definitely not for me.
Well, the good thing is...
I'm trying to be nice!
No. It's, like, I get it, like, because, so, I was looking at it, and I was just like, oh, are they going to include a white foundation? But the thing is that they didn't. And that's the really shitty thing, and that's why I'm not buying it. Because, first off, I have like a ton of elf black lipstick already, because, you know, I've hyped them up so much. Because it's good lipstick. It's soft, it smells nice, it's great.
I can see people looking at it thinking, yes, I like this item, this item, this item, but the rest can go in the trash.
Kinda, yeah. Like a lot of it is just the same stuff that Elf has, and it's just kind of like there's girls who are already like, you know, promoting it on TikTok.
Could you imagine ringing like their customer service? Hi, I'd like to buy some makeup. What colours do you have? Black. Do you have anything else? No. What? No greys? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the white foundation that they have in with it is like white eye primer, and then everything else is specifically like just use your lipstick and the eyeliner to fill everything else in. It's like, you're not really supposed to do that.
Wouldn't that come off as soon as you
I don't know. I can do all my
Yeah.
makeup with a single black eyeliner pencil if I want to, or if I have to.
Just scraping it on. I don't need nothing else.
But yeah, a lot of people. So it's
It'll
really
dry the
obvious.
hell out of your lips, but it can be done.
It's very obvious in the commercial that is not the same. The makeup that they are all wearing is not the same makeup that.
Buy our crap, become a metal poser.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the exact same stuff as what they're wearing, because, like I said, the girls on TikTok have been putting it on, and it does not look good at all. It's not for lack of trying or anything. It's just like the eye primer white stuff is not, it's translucent. It doesn't go on a solid white.
No, you meant to use a sponge, if I recall, to do.
Yeah, but they also even use a sponge, and like I said, it's not meant to be foundation. It's eye primer.
I could see a lot of people using this for clown makeup. If they want to dress like the Crow,
especially the new one.
Are we gonna go there?
I could see it working, or people doing it that way. Oh, the new Crow movie. Oh dear. Oh dear.
I want it to be normalized for men to be able to do eyeliner and not just smush it. And not just smush it all over their eyeballs and eyelids, you know?
Not panda eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, the one I did was, if I'd messed it up, I'd just kind of scrape it downwards and then just do it again. So you kind of get your, I don't know what you'd be, a sort of layering effect? Not a layering effect. Shading effect would be using a pencil. I've only just recently started using liquid, and that is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. It's nice, though. Yeah, I would love, like, I don't get why the Crow doesn't do winged eyeliner when he's literally called the Crow.
Because it's not manly enough.
How?
He has to do makeup like a man.
Isn't this one more based on the comics, if I'm wrong? And the other one was more of their own take on it, or am I talking out my head?
Have you seen stills or the preview for it?
I've seen a little bit.
He does not look like the comics at all.
No, they changed, like, all of it.
Oh, so it's just awful then.
Yeah, even the creator, I think didn't the
Jared
creator
Leto
of the comic?
calls, he wants his Joker back.
It is Jared
Yeah.
Leto.
Yeah. I think
God. It actually is?
no, it's
someone else.
like it's Bill Skarsgård,
Okay.
which I mean he's the newest like boy flame, so I got nothing against him. Like it's a paying gig, whatever.
You don't really blame him, you blame the studio.
Yeah, the studio and the director for thinking that they could do it. I'm just kind of wondering what the hell happened with the whole, like, they were planning on using Jason Momoa, but I guess he's too old. Or something.
Wouldn't he be a bit too...
They're going to cover him in makeup. How will that be a problem?
Isn't he a bit too muscly for that? I can't... Or is the Crow... Oh, then again, is it a 90s comic, so they're going to be jacked anyway?
This is true.
I don't really know. Is the Crow in the comics muscly, or is he, like, quite thin? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't really matter.
No,
It's
Yeah.
It's a fictional character. They can do him how they like. They could make the Crow a fat guy. It won't matter. They
Yeah.
could gender flip the Crow. It would still work.
that would be interesting.
Yeah, but
If
then
they-
all your
if they did the same
fanboys go,
thing.
oh no!
Or if they made him black.
I mean, isn't the point of the Crow's magic supposed to be it passes from person to person? It would be very easy to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody can be the Crow.
Well, that's why in the sequels to the movies, it was a different character each time.
I'm
And
looking
they were
now
all
at the
different. And a lot of people were expecting, oh, we want the same Crow back. It's like, that's not how it works. I mean, they were very hit or miss based on the character and how it was portrayed, but each one was different.
Yeah.
And we're not even going to talk about the TV show.
There was a TV show?
Yeah, it wasn't just a crow, there was a scorpion and all sorts of things. And it was a mess.
Okay.
This is like when I tell people that there's a sequel to Rocky Horror.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that.
I'd heard
It's
of
called
it,
shock-
I haven't
It's called
seen
shock.
it.
It's
I've
called
seen
shock treatment to those who don't know, and it is awful.
Should at least see it once, just to
Yeah.
know of its existence. And then
It's
you're
very
just like,
strange.
yeah.
It's like all based on a TV show. It's very weird. It's not the same actors.
No. Well, it's some of the same actors. It's just not the same. Like, Janet and what's his face?
Brad.
They're played by different actors, but the actor who plays Magenta and Riffraff,
Riffraff.
they're both in it.
Well, he's the director, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he also did Crystal Maze in the UK. Game
And
show,
then
90.
you have Rob Zombie making the Munsters.
I wonder how that's going to go. I mean, he generally does a good job.
Oh, it's
but
out already. It's on Netflix.
It's not good.
No, it's really cheesy, and I mean, it's probably good for kids.
I know people.
It
were
kind
getting
of missed the point of the Munsters originally. Yeah, the Munsters,
Yeah.
they think they're normal. That's
Mhm.
the point. It's like the Addams Family. As far as they're
Yeah,
concerned,
so-
everyone else are the weirdos.
I love the fact that people got really angry about Gomez. It's like they thought he was white when he's fact he's Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Even the myth
Yeah.
from the 90s is Puerto Rican. It was like, or if you look.
Are
in the
we going
comics,
to go there talking about Wednesday? I mean, season 2's coming soon.
Yeah, it is. I forgot about that. It's in.
I thought the show was all right.
Yeah.
I thought the hype over the Goo Goo Muck dance was a bit much. But the show was
that's TikTok
fine.
for you.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I'm willing to watch the next season
Yeah,
once we get
same.
Netflix back. We've stopped with Netflix for a while.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. We're gonna.
You kind of have to switch between the different platforms as you watch everything on one and then move to the next one that's got all the stuff that one didn't have.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been
Yes,
handy
sir.
having my daughter getting Disney Plus, being able to see all the stuff on there. There's been some cool stuff.
I know. We actually don't have Disney Plus at the moment, and it's slightly killing me because I want to see more Bluey. And
My partner got rid of it like a few months ago, and for some reason she can still use it. So I watched Moana last night.
nice. Yeah, I
Really
wanna.
good film. I wasn't
I wanna
expecting that. It's actually really, really good.
I want to watch the new X-Men series. I heard that's been great.
Yeah, I've been watching that. That's pretty good. They basically continue the story straight on from the 90s series.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the voices aren't right. And the animation's a little bit more modern, even though they're trying to copy that older style. But once you get past that, it's good.
Yeah. I've always loved X-Men, so
Yeah.
it'll be easy. You have to do X-Men First Class in order for me to be like, yeah, what they did to original Deadpool and Wolverine, I think.
Just call me angel of the morning, angel.
Yeah. Oh, that was
I wouldn't
no.
I'm glad they're kind of erasing that and making fun of it too. All right, my song that I chose was Scratch by Bat Boner off their new EP, well, new-ish EP, Flaccid. and that came out in March 3rd, 2023.
I'm just curious. The thing I wanted to do was, I don't know if it's not out of nostalgia or I actually do love them. Well, I do, but I don't know if it's purely nostalgia for a happier time. But I've been trying to do a list. Well, there is lists online, but I've been trying to watch as many of the 90s, early 2000s, and they're so-called industrial Gothic films. So you've got like your Underworlds, your Repo, the Gothic Opera, Van Helsing, things like that.
The Genetic Opera.
Genetic Opera. Sorry, what did I say?
You said Gothic.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, it's been a long podcast.
It has been.
Genetic Opera. Just wondering what you guys think of those films. I think they played a big part of the subculture around that time.
Don't forget the Matrix movies.
I was about to say.
I love The Matrix. That's like the OG, I guess. Well, it's not the OG, but I guess that's the big one.
Well, out of all of them, the Matrix is probably the most mainstream and well known.
Yeah,
Equilibrium's a good one as well. I don't know if you've seen Equilibrium. It's the one where they do dances to use guns. It's in a world where you're not allowed to feel emotion. You have to take a pill to not feel anything, because society is deemed dangerous because of human emotion.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, it's pretty good. I was just thinking, are there any of the films like that you guys like?
Oh,
I think Underworld played a massive part in like the goth. Not really goth per se, but at least more goth.
Like, yeah, definitely the industrial. I hate to say it, but Queen of the Dam. Like,
you don't like Queen of the Damned?
I like Queen of the Dam, but there's a lot of people.
It's okay. First time I watched it, I hated it, but we did a riff track for it with the Gothic Position, and watching it then, this isn't as bad as I remember.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of aged well, considering.
Yeah. A lot of people's gripe with it, I think, is like the book comparison, which I've never read the book.
Also, after Interview with a Vampire was a masterpiece compared to Queen of the Damned.
It still is, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think nostalgia plays a big bit into it. Probably with Queen of the Damned, because probably the music and whatnot.
Yeah.
Probably maybe not for you guys with the new metal, but
yeah, a lot of the new metal. No, I love the music back then, but there's a lot of people that just kind of look at it. Their Lestat having the same voice as Jonathan Davis is a little cringe to them, but I like it.
Well, I actually knew someone who was one of the extras in the concert scene.
Oh,
yeah.
Where was it shot?
In Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
And he's used to dress up sort of very Victorian and that, so they wanted him in the crowd.
Yeah.
They got extras kind of like that. When they did one of the recent Mortal Kombat movies, they had a similar thing calling for extras here. Just people dressing up sort of punk and all that stuff to be in the crowd for it. So I thought of going for it myself, but I didn't end up doing it.
Just being elitist Joe in the background.
Oh, I probably would have dressed more industrially for it, because it would have made more sense.
Constantine would be a good one.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at a quick list I found on Reddit. The Covenant, but that is.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Someone mentioned Equilibrium. Johnny
Mnemonic. Oh, that's a great movie. That's a real cyberpunk movie, that one.
I'll have to put that on the list then. What did you think of Repo?
Tank Girl.
Tank Girl's a good one.
Yeah.
What did you think of Repo?
Repo's fun.
A little glass fire.
Paris Hilton's surprisingly good in it.
She's in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got Ogre from Skinny Puppy, who's in it too.
Is that the narrator?
He's the face skin guy.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's Ogre.
Someone's put The Craft, but I don't know.
That's more of like a goth witchy film. Like it's definitely a standout. Like
it's a witchy high school film.
Yeah.
You'd compare that more to a movie like Idle Hands.
Existency?
Extension?
Extenzi. Moving.
A terrible movie you do not want to ever see is a movie that's actually called Goth. From back in that era.
We were going to review bad films for Goths then.
Yeah. Abney Parker even part of the soundtrack. But the movie itself, oh god, it's awful. And it has not aged well. There's like sexual violence, trigger warnings, and we did a riff track for that, and I'm like, I apologise for even suggesting it after we finished watching it, because I didn't remember it being as bad as it is.
I don't know if you would have seen this, but apparently It's a good one. It's Dark City. I've been meaning to watch.
I watched that ages ago. I don't remember much about
that's
it.
real sort of film noir sort of thing.
Yeah.
A Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
That's a good one. I completely forgot about that one.
If we're talking a little earlier, The Rocketeer, maybe.
No.
Iron Giant.
The kids one.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
fair
great movie.
enough. Never seen it.
Oh, wow. You've never seen Iron Giant?
You
No,
don't have to be a gun.
It's a good one. It's a classic animated film.
A bloody repost.
If we're talking early 90s, Hardware.
What's the premise of that?
It's kind of like a dystopian wasteland desert thing where this lady makes sculptures and she finds this old combat robot and makes a sculpture out of it. Problem is, the robot comes alive and tries to kill her. Oh, I think one of the guys from Fields of the Nephilim's even in it.
Awesome. There's one really, really bad one for the more Goths out there, and they'll probably know about it. It has Danny Filth in. It's called Cradle of Fear.
Ugh,
It's the
that thing.
cheesiest movie ever. Like, low budget. Be warned if you watch it, it's very graphic. But also very badly done graphic, prosthetics and things like that.
Oh, I'm trying to think of one that had Zack Snyder in it. Strange World or something. It's a horror movie where he's basically a serial killer. They let him out, but when he goes off his meds, he goes back onto it. It's very BDSM-y. Oh, speaking of which, Preaching to the Perverted.
Oh, okay. I have to note these ones down when I listen to it back.
That one's more modern day. Tories are getting someone to infiltrate the Mistress's Travelling BDSM show. And through the process, she kind of converts him. He learns to like it.
Jacob Rees-Mogg in it or something.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm just going to mention one line. Bring on the butt plug.
Is it actually set in Britain?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, the Tories are sort of like, oh, we've got to get rid of this filth. So they get him in because he's a good, clean boy to infiltrate it. But he kind of ends up getting, well...
I bet they've all got southern accents as well. London-based accents.
But I think that's where they're holding at the mansion. Excuse me, sir, you appear to have something on your shoe. He's like, bends down to pick it up. Guess where the butt plug's gone?
Oh.
Of course you don't see it. It's just all implied. But it's enough. It's a fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
The soundtrack of it is really good too. It's a very electronic sort of EDM soundtrack, but it's good.
I'm definitely going to watch that. I love that sort of thing. Well, that's made me sound very perverted. But funny.
That's okay, you're British.
Oh, no, we're not allowed to do that. You know that they were actually thinking of bringing a license in for porn a few years ago.
How would that work?
You'd have to ring up and I think you'd have to buy one from the corner shop or something, like a license to have porn or something like that. Or there was another one where you had to, I think you do have to do that on your phone, where you have to you have to message the phone company and say you want to see over 18 stuff.
That reminds me of in Futurama when Professor Farnsworth gets de-aged. He's like, oh, now I'm not old enough for ultra porn.
Well, it didn't go through. But that's the Tories for you.
Yeah, I feel like something like that wouldn't be able to go through unless you, validate sex workers. So
They did. I think that it is allowed in the UK. I think that it has to be done in a certain environment. It
has to be done in a prim and proper fashion.
Yeah. Good
That's
praise
better.
the king and whatnot.
it's better than just not allowing it.
This is true.
They come up with some weird stuff.
Get excited because it's gonna get weird.
Have we got anything else to discuss? Anyone thought of it?
No, I think we can talk about what's next for us each, whatever we're doing next, and then go from there.
Haven't we kind of covered that?
Yeah.
With the future
I was going to
gig.
say, we're going to...
like the most recent thing we're gonna do, or how to find us.
Do that
social
at the end.
media
I was
wise.
gonna say, we're going to need to hear the basement turtle story.
Oh, the basement turtle story. You want to save that for the next one?
Up to you.
Yeah, I'll save it for the next one. I'm trying to get on Facebook so I can look at this damn event.
Well, I guess next for me, it's just whatever gigs come along. And one thing I'm trying to look into is something that I've noticed, because I have a couple special needs kids. Well, they're not really kids anymore. They're over 18. And my youngest is almost 18. So there's that. And I noticed there was a lack of was you had organisations like the Variety Club that do parties for kids, but there wasn't really a lot happening for adults. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if there was a nightclub event that catered for special needs people? Now, it turns out, after talking about it, there are similar events happening, like there's one with live bands, there's another one happening, but these are all daytime events. I want something in the evening. Because I know they're out there, because we've had special needs people turning up to some of the events that I DJ at. And there is definitely an interest. So that's sort of what I'm more interested in getting going next, rather than getting another goth or industrial event, because it's a niche that needs to be filled.
I think the issue you're going to have with that is if it's later on, they're going to want the booze sales.
Yeah, they can drink. If they're allowed to drink, they're allowed to, you know? That's the whole point. It'll be sort of more, say, 6 o'clock till 10 o'clock or something like that. So it'll be nighttime, evening meal was part of it, maybe. You know, things. Because I've noticed a lot of them, they do it over lunch and have a lunch meal. It's like, well, if you've got one in the evening, you get more of a nightclub feel. I posted a thing on my Facebook that someone showed me of an event they did like that in the Yorkshire area, not far from where you are, Dean.
All right.
And they had a similar event they did over Easter. It's like, that's the sort of thing I want to do. But since these other events are happening, I thought, well, I'll take my daughter to some of those to see what they're about. I mean, who knows? I may end up even volunteering at them myself, or with my idea, doing it under their banner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's something that can be catered to, and it's giving back.
Yeah, I think generally when you start to get older, you start to want to do something to give back in a way. It's the reason I started DJing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did DJ.
Yeah, you want to give back to the community.
I mean, interestingly enough, though, when I've been DJing at stuff like Furball, and I even DJ'd at an e-girl event, believe it or not, I actually threw in some goth and industrial music, and they loved it.
Yeah.
People complain that the e-girls don't like the music. It's like, you show it to them, and they loved it.
You got to think, where do they perform? And it's going to be in certain clubs, and what do they play in those clubs? Industrial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there was an industrial DJ that played that night. It's like, if I got a new industrial event going, I could build an event around her. She was that good. Yeah. And she DJ'd with me a few other times too. It's been good. It's building, you build everyone up instead of competing with each other.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah, there's a lot of drama in the East Midlands, but it was all because of said person perceiving that everyone was against her, but it was just her laziness. But alas.
Drama is a people thing. It happens everywhere.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's just goths are a little more dramatic about it.
We're dramatic people.
Oh, the pain. The pain.
Tragic. I say, because like wanting to give back is the reason we pretty much do what we do now, isn't it? I mean,
exactly.
Online. Yep. And creativity.
But when I was doing events and that, I want to wow people the same way I was wowed when I was new.
Yeah. First time you step into a golf club,
it's like, holy
kind of scared.
Wow.
You dare go on
this is what I want to do. You know, you go there, it's like, I want to keep coming back.
Yeah.
You never get that same magic in the future but
I do if I go into a
You
new
can-
club or in a new city.
you can see it in new people that come in. And it's like, yes.
I mean, I still got to see Satan's Hollow, which is in Manchester, and I still haven't been Slimelight, which are Slimelight's like the OG goth club
Yeah.
in the UK. I mean, you could probably make it.
I've heard
Stand for
mixed
Leeds,
things. Some people complain, some people don't. It's like a night out is going to be as good as you let it be.
Aye, but you have to take out a mortgage to go to London.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
So
Do they still have a lot of good shops in Camden around the goth scene, or?
I was going to mention it earlier, but I went Camden 6 years ago, maybe. It's not what it was, in my opinion. I think that the high street is really what people go for. You've got like the new rock signs and the big boot going on the shops and whatnot, and they're great, but they're overpriced. You can get, in my opinion, there's nothing there you can get that you can't get online. And the markets, you can get some cheap stuff or knockoff band shirts and whatnot. That's great.
Yeah.
There's a couple, 2 or 3 unique shops. You've also got Cyberdog, which is always a must-see.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that it's not what it wants. It's more gone into kind of indie light alternative, as I'd call it, sort of thing. It's not really the goth haven it once was. I can't really speak for the club scene because I've only ever been to Electroworks, and that was like 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one that was in Manchester called Affleck's, which was similar, and it's gone the same way. I think there was only one alt shop last time I went there, about 5-6 years ago. Affleck's was like a shopping centre for alts.
That's the only certain thing is change.
It's like I said, Leicester used to have like 5 alt shops at one time in the early 2000s, and I was thinking, I'm eating good here, because in London there was nothing else I could really find. Every time I went to London, I would take a fair bit of money, because you have to, even just to get a drink. But then I'd only ever wind up buying a wristband or a t-shirt, and I'm ready to spend, but I'm quite picky with my merch that I buy.
Yeah.
So Nottingham used to have a few as well, but it's got 2 or 3 left. But, and that's generally what it was. But there was a good one that closed down a few years ago. But Leicester really was good. Affleck's used to be the old shopping centre, but again, that's gone, really. But I can't speak because I haven't been there for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Camden is a little bit overhyped nowadays. I'd probably say Whitby would be a good one to go to, because that has a lot of goth thrifting stores.
Oh,
that are there all
nice.
year round. There's at least 1 or 2 I can think of off the top of my head. Can't speak for Scotland or Wales.
The Willy Wonka experience.
Oompa, loompa, doompa-dee-doo. I've got another puzzle for you.
Oh no. That's the saddest Oompa Loompa I've ever seen.
I'm still shocked that wasn't in America. Like, when I heard it was in Scotland, I was like, really? Scotland? What?
There wasn't really many alt stores in Edinburgh, to what I remember. There's 2, maybe 3. Can't remember.
One thing I've noticed here is we have a lot
pub
more
store.
record stores than we used to. As in focused on selling vinyl, due to the vinyl boom. But as far as finding goth, industrial, dark alternative, it's very hit or miss. I mean, I've found some amazing things in stores here that I didn't expect. Like I found my 45 Grave record in a local store, and when I first saw it, it's like, yeah, that's not going to move in a hurry. And about 4 months later, I bought it.
Hasn't that been a bit of a curse though for you? Because like now everything's gone up because everyone's collecting them.
Yes, a new vinyl's about the same price. I mean, everything, if you're going to buy vinyl in Australia, it's always going to be more expensive than overseas, just because we have to import it all. So it's just as easy for me to buy off of Bandcamp or buy from a European or US seller and try and get something where I can get 3 or 4 records sent for the same postage cost to make it viable. And that often means I'm buying stuff that I've never even heard of, because I'll look into it and then look them up on YouTube. Like, oh, that sounds interesting. And it means I buy a lot of cheap stuff just as filler to make it worth it, but it's stuff that I like that I've never heard before. Often in genres that I've never really explored. And I'm all for exploring all sorts of weird and wonderful music, you know?
Yeah. Schoolgirl is in the UK at the minute, and she's a YouTuber for those who don't know. I've been laughing. Try the mushy peas. Try the mushy peas. Try the mushy peas.
I didn't know she was in the UK. I heard she was in Portugal for a while.
Oh, she's moved.
Oh, she's moved. She's now in the UK.
No. She's in She lives in Portugal.
Yes.
But she went to Whitby for a gig, and it looks like she went to one in Bristol. Bristol is a good old place, by the way. I was going to say I can't speak for the venues or shopping, but I do know it's very good for that. I don't know where she is now, but I was just curious if she'd have any culture shocks. She got away with going in a first class carriage on the train with a second class ticket, and I've never seen that happen. I was like, it must have had her accent and been like, oh, screw it. Do some hospitality.
Yeah.
Just for people listening, recording this has been different because we're doing it via Zoom, which we haven't really done before. Thing is, none of us actually own a subscription. So every 40 minutes, we have to cut out and come back in. And this will take us, about 4 takes in a row?
Yeah.
So if there's any weird editing things, that is why.
All right. Well,
I just wrap up.
Yeah, I just want to mention before I go, our next-ish thing, this is actually way far out. It's August 15th, but the concert I was talking about is a band called Obsidian and Ghost Painted Sky with local band, post-punk band, Gary Robert and Community, and they will be at a new bar, which I haven't been yet, called The Backside. And it's called The Backside.
Oh, The Backside. I thought you said The Packside. I was like, what?
No.
So
Backside.
it's the Bottom Club.
The Bottom Club.
Pretty much. And it is a gay club, and their little logo is
it
the
could be
asterisk.
like, I could see a club with a big sort of, say, I don't know, Times New Roman, and it's just called Arse. With a full stop at the end.
Yeah. Like,
is that the UK branch?
no, Arse. A-R-S-E.
Yes.
Ass.
But yeah, that will be August 15th, about 2 days before my birthday. So that's something.
Hey.
Nice.
But other than that, I don't know what else. Like, it's mostly a lot of wedding planning and stuff like that. So
cool.
Probably not gonna do too much other than save money.
Do we have a schedule for going forward for how often to do it? Is it just when and if, or every few months or something to talk about? Or... I mean, we're going to do other content as well. Not quite sure yet. There is a film critic review for like stuff with goths in for a laugh. You know, bad portrayals and whatnot. But that's in the works. But maybe some other stuff will come out in the meantime.
Yeah, maybe every 2 weeks, maybe.
Maybe, as long as we've got something to talk about, that's cool.
Or maybe every month. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I'm down.
We're kind of experimenting at this point, just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks, what doesn't. And I think
Obviously,
the one thing we will do is have our song for each of us each time. I think that's something that's well worth keeping in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good to promote.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll probably have some mates on and all. And
yeah, guests on board. I'm all for that.
Awesome. Well, for me going forward, I'm going to try and get back into YouTubing. I might build up a bit of a few videos before I start again so I can get to a better schedule. But keep an eye out. I've got a few scripts already done. Yeah, one's coming out. It's going to be on an old goth website in the UK, which was NetGoth.
Nice.
I've got into contact with one person who used to did a lot of stuff behind the scenes for that community back in the day. So yeah, we'll see about that going forward.
Very cool.
Yourself, Joe? Oh, you've already said, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, pretty much. There's not much else really to add. A lot of it is a case of keeping my ear to the ground, seeing what pops up. and working around family and things like that.
Awesome. Well, I guess we'll sign off and say, stay posers.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ta-ta.
Cranky Goth Posers. Cranky Goth Posers. Cranky Goth Posers.
Not gonna talk about Bluey, Joe.
Bluey? Oh, I could mention it later. We could record a bit about Bluey just to tack on to the end even.
Yeah.
Oh, I could have talked about Bluey when we saw him at the Royal Show, yeah. Ara loved it. She's a big Bluey fan.
I want to go to the show. There's supposed to be one here too.
They're kind of like, I don't know, do you call them state fairs over there? Or,
No.
like that?
It should be a regular concert.
Oh, yeah, this was that sort of, I mean, the Royal Show's basically what you'd have at like a state fair. And they did the Bluey performances for different days. And we were worried that they weren't going to do it on the day we were going. But they added extra performances because they were that popular. And when we were there, the place was packed. And this is just in one of the exhibition halls, just a section with a stage they set up for it and that. And Bluey, little bastard, turned me into a cow. Then when they played the games, the dads always lost. Biscuits.